As you can see there, we can see a counter running from 0 to 100 on the Nextion Touch screen using our Arduino. As you can see, it is working like a charm. Now if I go to the Nextion display software, here you can see this, that this is the T0 box, and in the Arduino IDE I show you here, we just initialize the software serial port, and this is the Nextion port. We began the software serial, and then we just ran a counter using a do while loop, here do while loop. And then to display the counter on the screen, we use these commands. We selected the object, that is t0.txt, and here we send this command, and rest is just a syntax. So simple as that. This programming gives us this result over here. Hello guys, welcome to learning microcontrollers. In this video I'm going to show you how you can interface a Nextion touch screen with an Arduino UNO. Then we will run a counter on the Nextion screen from Arduino from 0 to 100. So let's get started. So guys, how this is going to work: first we will develop an interface using the Nextion editor software for our Nextion touch screen. Then we will run the interface from the Nextion editor software to the USB to our Nextion touch screen using a USB to TTL device. After that, we will now rewire up our Nextion screen with our Arduino UNO. Like, we will remove the Nextion touch screen from the USB to TTL device. We will connect it to our Arduino UNO. After that, we will program the Arduino UNO in such a way that it will display a counter from 0 to 100 on the Nextion screen. Now, first of all, we will need to connect this Nextion screen. This is the screen I have over here. It's a 2.8-inch Nextion touch screen. On the right side, you can see the model right down on a piece of paper, or it is also written on the box of the screen as well. This will be needed in the Nextion editor. On the left side, you have a port here at the back. Now this is already labeled, but I'm again going to label it for you. The topmost pin is the 5 volt. Then we have the third pin. The third pin from the top is the RX pin. Then the second pin from the top is the TX pin, and the fourth pin from the top is the ground pin. In this way, it is 5 volt, TX, RX and ground. Now this TX and RX means that it's a UART based touch screen. So now to connect it with a computer, to make sure that we get the Nextion editor made interface transferred from the computer to this, we will need to burn it into it using our USB to TTL device. Now guys, this is our USB to TTL device. It's a CH340. You can use any USB to TTL device, FT232 or CP2 or 12 or whatever is available at your place. Now as you can see that the top one, this is the top view, this is the bottom view. I relabeled it for you. The top pin is the 5 volt, then we have VCC, 3.3 volt, TX, RX and ground. Now first of all, you connect the 5 volt pin directly with the 5 volt pin of your Nextion screen like this. For the TX, connected to the RX of your Nextion. For the RX, connected to the TX of your Nextion like this. And for the ground, just connected to the ground. In this way, our connection of the Nextion screen with the USB to TTL device is completed. So before that, let's go to the Google and download and install our Nextion editor software. So to download and install the Nextion editor software, you go to the Google and write down Nextion editor like this. This first link, that is the download Nextion, click on it. This window pops up. Here you have two options, the .exe or the .zip file. It's a free software. Just click on it, the .exe file, it will start to download. So I already have it downloaded, so I just click on it. Just click on the downloaded file. This will pop up, give it the permission, run anyway like this, and just now you have to install it. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to reinstall it. So you just have to click on next and select the path and install it. I already have it, so I will cancel the installation. I will just go to my desktop. Once you have installed it, just go to your desktop, and on the desktop you will have this setup. Is this icon here, Nextion editor. Enter, press enter or click on it. This is starting up. Okay, wait. Okay, there you go. The Nextion editor software has started up. Now this is our Nextion editor. Click on file. To make your interface, you have to just click on file, click on new like this, not here. Click on file, click on new, write the name, counter, tutorial using Arduino on Nextion screen by LM. Okay, this is the name I wrote. Click on save. Okay, now the next thing is it is asking for the model. That is why I told you write that label on the right side of the screen. That is the model number. This is the screen I have. It's a 2.8-inch Nextion screen. This was the model written there, NX3224T028. I click on OK. Okay. Now select the direction in which you want to make the Nextion GUI. I select the horizontal, that is 90 degree. click on OK. Now here you have the Nextion display. Whatever you make it here, once you upload it onto the device, that will be displayed over there as well. So for that, go to the right. These are our toolboxes. I take a text box here, and now you can see that the text box is displaying no text. You have to generate a font. Now in the tools, you have there font generator. Click on it. This window pops up. Select the size of the font. I make it 32. Select the type. I make it bold. Okay, I make it 32. That's great. Okay, bold. Okay, writing style. These are the writing styles. Okay, I write the name counter. That is what I write here. I click on generate, and counter generate.zi. Okay, that's great. Okay, font generated. Okay, add the generated font. Yes. Okay, the font is generated and added. I generate another font as well, and I increase the size to 56, or I make it even more. I make it 80. Okay, this is another font I am going to generate. The size and the writing style, set it to any. Okay, I make this. This looks fancy. I make it counter 1. Okay, click on generate font. Okay, counter 1 generated like this. I click on OK. I click on yes. Okay, the font is generated. Now go back here, click on it. See, the font is here. Now the thing is, here at the bottom you have fonts. See these fonts. Click on it. Now these are the two fonts shown here. Now font ID 1, this is the IDs here, ID 1 and ID 0. If you want to add more font styles you have generated before, you can just click on this add button and add them. So I have counter 1 and I have counter ID 0 and ID 1. Now see, by default it is now which ID? Font. Now go to the right, this is ID 1. Now there you have this font, sorry, ID 0. I make it 1. Now see, it will be bigger. It will not be able to display here. See, now this is our ID 1. The font I am using is now ID 1. Okay, like this. Now this font, that is the T0, I will use as a counter. So this will be the counter on our screen, a big counter. That's fine. And the other one, I just copy paste this box like this. And here this will be the box T1. And I just make it smaller like this on the top. And I give it the font ID 0 because 0 is a 32 height. Okay, now it's smaller. Now I give it a default text, that is here. This is a text and this is a text length. I make it like 70 characters, that it can display 70 characters. And the by default text is learning microcontrollers. So that is it. So now see, this is learning microcontrollers displayed here, and this is our new text, and I make it by default weight. By default it will show weight here instead of showing anything. It will not show anything, it will just display weight here. Okay, here let me move it here and extend it so all the characters are displayed like this. Okay, now this seems fine. Learning microcontrollers, and this will be the counter. Now what I do is that, now these are the colors. I make the background color go black and the top color go white like this. So this also looks fine. And for this as well, what I do is that I make the background color, I click on select, whatever the background color I prefer, I will set it. I set it black. Okay, I set it to something like this. Okay, this seems fine. I click on OK. Okay, this is the background color, and the top color, that is the text color, I select and I make it this bright yellow. I click OK. So this will be displayed on the top. R is going out, so we just extend it. Okay. Okay, it cannot be shown on one, so we use like two text boxes. So on the first one we display learning only, learning, or you can also make the text go smaller like this. We display the learning on the first one like this. On the second one we display the microcontrollers like this. Now learning microcontroller, and we move this down to make it look more presentable like this. Okay. Okay, here guys we have our Nextion screen ready. Now you can see that this is a text box 1, text box 2, and this is a text box 0. On this, these two we will not touch, they will be learning microcontrollers, and this third one, there we will display our counter. It will start from 0 and we will go to 100, then again come back to 0. Now we need to burn this onto the Nextion screen. Now to burn this onto the Nextion screen, you have to connect your Nextion screen to your USB to TTL device. So let's do that. So guys, this over here is our Nextion touch screen, and this is the USB to TTL device I'm going to use here. and as you can see on the back side, this is the same Nextion Touch screen I have shown you in the presentation. You can see that same model, and you can use any USB to TTL device whichever is available at your place. So now what we do is that I just connected the USB to TTL device, I connected it into the computer. This is the port extender of the computer I have here. Currently there is no firmware. If you have any firmware, it will show up here. Now what I do is that I go to my Nextion editor. Now zoom in. Now this is what we want to see on the screen. Now there you have this upload button. You click on it. Just click on it. This window pops up. Select the COM port which is connected to the Nextion screen. If you don't know the COM port, but your USB to TTL device is connected and the driver is installed, then you may auto search. Just click on the auto search. It will automatically search the port on which the Nextion is connected. I select COM port 9 and I click on go. Wait here. Okay, now it has started uploading the new firmware. Okay, let's zoom out and see what is happening on the screen. Now on the screen you can see that the new firmware is being updated. So let me bring it close so you can see. So you can see that the new firmware is being updated. Just wait. Let it update the new firmware. 90, 92, 94, 56. Okay, here you go, the new firmware. So this is the new firmware, and this is the firmware as shown in the presentation as well. You can see that it is the same firmware. Now it's uploaded as per our desire. Now what we do is that now we can start the Arduino programming. Now once the firmware is done, you just remove the device from the computer. Now you remove this device completely, and now you plug your Nextion screen into your Arduino board. Now that's what you have to do right now. Now what you have to do for this, I show you how you can do this. So now this over here is our Arduino UNO, easily available in the market, and this over here is a Nextion Touch screen, top view, the bottom view. On the left side you have this port. I relabel it for you. The top is the 5 volt, TX, RX and ground like this. Now the basic is 5 volt will go to the 5 volt pin of your Arduino UNO, ground will go to the ground pin of your Arduino UNO like this. Now for the TX pin, you will connect it to your Arduino's UART port RX pin, and you know that Arduino have a very powerful software serial library. So I am going to declare the pin number 2 in the software serial library as the RX pin and pin number 3 as a TX pin for the software serial library, in which I am going to connect the Nextion display. So for that port, 2 will be the RX and 3 will be the TX. Now to connect the Nextion touch screen with this software serial generated port, you connect the TX pin to the RX pin, that is pin number 2, and the RX pin to the TX pin, that is pin number 3. Pin number 2 is the RX pin of my Arduino software serial library, and 3 is the TX pin like this. In this way our connections are completed, very simple as that. So guys, as you can see, I have connected my Nextion screen with the Arduino. As you can see that here the connections are completed. Simple. Now once the Arduino, this screen is connected with your Arduino, once it's connected, now you just plug the Arduino into your computer like this, okay. Now it's connected into the computer as well. Now what I do is that, now let's go to your terminal. Okay, there we have our screen. Now we will go to our Arduino IDE to start writing the new firmware. So there is the magnifier. Let me zoom in. So click on file, click on new. Okay, the new window pops up. Close any other previous window like this. Now in the new window, before you do anything else, remove these comments. They are just for indication that this is the one-time loop and this is the forever loop. I remove these. Simple. Now I click on file. I save the work before I do anything else like this. Now write the name, counter Arduino Nextion tutorial by learning microcontrollers like this. This is the name I wrote. You can write any name you want. Okay, now wait. Okay, now file is saved. Now we are ready to start programming. Now as I told you, we will be using a software serial library. Now to include a software serial library, you have to first write these commands, #include, and here the lesson symbol, then write software and then serial dot h and the greater than sign. This is how you're going to do it. If you don't want to write it, just copy paste it from some example. Now you have to write another command to declare the software serial port. I write software serial, and whatever the port name you want, I write it Nextion. Nextion is the name, port name, and the pins I will select are pin number 2 and 3 as shown in the presentation. Here, as shown in the presentation as well, pin number 2 is equal to RX and 3 is equal to TX. Now this is the syntax here. Pin number 2 is always the RX pin. The first one you write here will be the RX, the second will be the TX. You cannot declare all the pins as RX as you like. Only few pins in the Arduino are supported as RX pins like this. Now guys, in this way our software serial port is defined. These are the syntax. Only thing you change is the name and the pins you want to select. Now what I do is that I initialize the serial, ordinary serial, that is the hardware serial library. That is only in case our code do not works and we have to like check the code. Not necessary. I write it here, not necessary in this code, but in case we need to send some data to the serial terminal, then we will need this command as well. So it will initialize the hardware serial port. Now for the software serial, we just copy it, Nextion.begin, and write the baud rate 9600 is default and it's fine like this. Now this is our Nextion display. Nextion display. Okay, now this is good. Now we have our Nextion screen initialized. Now we go to our forever loop. Here first of all we run a counter. Now to run a counter you will need a variable called count. So the good thing is Arduino is that you can declare the integers here, or you can also declare the integer between the code. I declare the integer called count. Okay. Now you can use any loop. I use a do while loop. Do what it should do, count equals to count plus 1 like this. Now here and while, keep on repeating until the count is less than 100. Once because why it will be equal to 100, because in the do while loop one time running is compulsory, so that one time will make sure that we always hit the 100. If I make it less than equal to 100, it will go to 101, because one time do while loop always execute. You can run any loop you want. Now this is our counter over here. Now we need to display whatever is in the count on the screen as well. Now here how we display the value of the count on the screen. Now by default I want the count to be equal to 0. So here I write count equals to 0 in the one time loop. The count by default will be 0. Or once a code is executed, count will become 0 here. Okay. And we also start count as a 0 like this. So count is 0 once a code starts, and once the code is ended, it will again become 0 like this. Okay, it's fine. Now what I do is that now what we have to do is that we have a special syntax for this. Just copy this Nextion from here, paste it here like this, and after that you write the next command, that .print. You have to print it, and what you have to print it? You have to print it at which text box we need to edit here. Now go to your Nextion tool again. Here you can see that the weight, here we want to update on this box we will need to update the counter, and this is T0. Now here you can see that ID object name is T0. So that is what you have to address in the programming. So in the programming you call it T0. Now this is the syntax T0.txt, and then you write equal to. Now here that is it. Now unlike sending a string like I have shown you in my previous video on how to send a string, here we will not use that technique. Now we have to send this count. So we cannot write a variable inside here. So what we do is that we write this command again, just copy paste this Nextion.print. Now what you have to send, you have to send a backslash like this, a backslash like this, and a double comma like this. This command over here shows that your object will start from here. Now you have to send the object, that is a variable. So we just write here print, and inside it remove this all, and just whatever you want to send, we want to send whatever is in the count like this here. And now you have to end this. Now the ending bracket is just the same. You just have to move this backslash again like this. This is simple as that. Now now let's complete this that I explained. After that, as done previously as well, you have to send 3 times 0 cross ff. That is the requirement of the syntax. Nextion dot write 0 cross ff. Now you have to send this command 3 times to make sure that your command is understood by the Nextion display, that it is considered executed like this. If you don't send these 3 times, it will not be considered executed. Now what is happening here is that on the T0 box we are going to send, this is a text box, we have selected the T0.txt box, and we are going to send here a variable called count. So basically what is the requirement is that you write it like this, t0.txt, this is a static equals to what count like this. But this is not possible here to write a variable like this, because it will give an error, because this is a string. So if I write it like this, it will still be an error. So if I also use the inverted brackets here, I just make it like this, it will still be an error. So now this is a variable. Now if I use backslashes over here like this, it will still be an error. So to overcome this problem, what we do is that we use this technique. Now you just instead of writing it like this, you break it here, you write it like this separately. After that you use this backslash over here, and after that you write the variable, and then after that you use the forward slash here, the backslash here, and this ends the command. Now in this way you send this to the screen, simple as that. And after that, these are the basic requirements. Now whatever variable changing text you want to send to the screen, you will use this technique. Now the do while loop is executed. Now our code is done. Now Arduino is connected. So just you go to the Arduino tools and see if your Arduino is connected. Okay, it's connected. COM port is active. Okay, now just click on upload, this button, upload. Wait for the code to be uploaded. Done compiling. Okay, now it's uploaded. Okay, the code is uploaded successfully. Let's go to the hardware and see what is happening there.